You want to buy an investment property, but you can't qualify going the conventional routes. My name is Hunter. I'm a licensed loan officer. I'm going to be showing you exactly how experienced and first-time investors purchase properties across the United States every single day. If you do find this information useful, please like, subscribe, and comment below what you want to see next or any questions that you have for me specifically about this product. The product that these investors are using is called Debt Service Coverage Ratio. What is debt service coverage ratio, or better known as DSCR? It's a very unique way that lenders look at the investment itself. So what they're doing is that they're looking at the appraised rental value of a property instead of looking at an investor's tax returns or their income. So all DSCR, or debt service coverage ratio, means is, does the appraised rental value cover what the projected mortgage payment is? Let's do an example. Let's say that there's a house that's $500,000 and an appraiser comes in and says, yep, the house is $500,000, but they also have to look at the rent. The mortgage payment on this property is $3,000. The appraiser comes in, okay, this house will rent out for $3,000. The deal works, so long as the appraised rental value covers the mortgage payment. Now, this could be either for the exact amount, it could be more, and I'll talk about what happens if it comes in less. So there are a couple of ways to get around of, let's say the appraiser comes in and says for that specific property, the rent is only $2,400 and not $3,000. We're $600 short. The investor has a couple of options here. One, they can put down more money to offset the mortgage payment to make sure it matches the rent, or that investor can go get a security deposit and first month's payment. So let's say that we need $3,000 to qualify. Our investor would go out and take a look for anyone who is willing to rent the house out for $3,000. They would get a lease, they would get the security deposit and first month's payment, and the lender will use the number that's on the lease so long as it backs up between the security deposit and that first month down payment. And another way someone can get around the appraised rental value coming in lower is something called asset utilization. And what this means is, let's say that there's a bank account that you have $150,000 in. It could be an investment account or a stock account, retirement account. The lender will use a portion of that money towards the actual rental income itself, and I'll explain how this works. If you're over 65 years old, it does give you a little bit more credit, but if you were under 65, let's say you have an account with $150,000 in it, typically the lender will take half that number and divide it over 36 months, and that's how much more income that you can put towards the rental income itself. The lender isn't actually asking you to promise this money. You don't have to set up withdrawals or anything. All you have to do is present the money, they do their calculation, and that's it. You don't need to touch that money whatsoever. Now, the lender may take half that number in your account, which would bring it down to $75,000, and divide it either over 36 or 60 months, and whatever that number is can be added on top of whatever the appraiser put down on the rent. So let's say that the appraiser said the place only rents out for $2,000 a month. The lender would take the amount of derived funds from their calculation and add it on top of the rent that the appraiser said, and the deal qualifies. So what are the things that you need in order to qualify for this loan? What are the parameters around it? Well, typically people who are applying for a DSCR loan do own a property already as a primary residence, but you actually don't need to own any property at all. As long as that you've been renting and we can show 12 months rent checks or a verification of rent from a property manager that you've made timely payments, you can utilize the DSCR product. You do own a property, documents that we would need is like a mortgage statement, your homeowner's insurance declaration page, and let's say that you own a property outright, we would just need a paid tax bill for 1 year showing that it's paid, a bank statement showing that you have enough funds in order to close, or if you are utilizing the asset utilization program, you would need 3 months of that statement to back up how much income you actually can use from that account. Hard inquiry will be done on your credit. Typically, if you have under a 700 score, you're going to have a hard time putting down less than 20%. So anything that's 700 and above, the minimum down payment would be 20%, but anywhere between 645 to 699, the minimum down payment would be 25%. However, I do recommend just having a credit score at 700, and if you have to work on it, please take the time to work on it. You have access to more favorable terms and rates if you are above 700. So let's take a look at the overall qualifying factors and make it a nice clean list. You can take out a DSCR loan underneath your personal name, or you can put it in an LLC or a corporation. 20% down is the minimum, but I do invite people to do more if they do have the funds available. A 700 FICO is the cutoff for 20% down, and if you have a 645 to a 699, typically you do require to be at 25% down. Let's say that you do have a mortgage late and it's 1 30-day late payment in the last 12 months. You are allowed to still qualify, only one in the last 12 months. If you have a 60 or a 90-day, you still have to wait until that 12-month period is clean. Now that we know what DSCR is and what items that we need to qualify, let's go through the process start to finish. Step 1 is always going to be a pre-approval no matter what. We're going to go over all those qualifying factors that I just spoke about, review all the documents that you need, and from there we're going to issue a pre-approval based off of how much assets that you have and the credit score and so on. Pre-approval is different for this because it's not based on your actual income, it's based on the rental income of the property, so you'll find that this is actually a pretty unique product. The pre-approval will be shifting depending on what the rental income actually is of a property that you want to make an offer on, which is why I'm going to transition into step 2. This is going to be your property selection, and like I said, it's unique, so every single property that you're making an offer on, make sure that you're working with your real estate agent and saying, hey, what is the rental income possibly going to be based on the comparables in the area? Also, be open with your realtor and let them know that you are utilizing this product, and if you need someone to explain it to them, explain it yourself or have the lender who is helping you out explain it. That way everyone's on the same page and we know exactly what to do. Now yes, let's say that the rental income does come in short. You do have those 3 options, either putting more money down, getting rent checks, or backing it up with an asset account. Sure, but you always want to do your homework up front. It never hurts. Now stage 3 is going to be the submission. Now that we have an accepted offer, we move on, we start working on the commitment letter, and if you did all your research and the lender did all their homework up front, getting a commitment letter on this type of mortgage is not hard at all. At the same time, in the background, we're ordering appraisal, we're reviewing title, we're reviewing all the other documents that you submitted, and we're working on conditions together. In stage 4, that's about it. Once we get everything cleared, once we get the appraisal done, the title done, all the other buyer's conditions are completed, you can be clear to close very quickly and very easily. This product really doesn't take longer than 30 days to close unless you need to wait more time in order to get it done, but otherwise, as long as you have appraisal and all your documents submitted up front and title's clean, this can close as fast as a regular conventional mortgage would. So that completes my overview of DSCR. I hope you enjoyed. You also can use DSCR to refinance, but I will make a separate video about that. But regardless, if you did enjoy this video, if you found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share with other people who want to be investors or are experienced investors and have never heard of this product. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video.